Well, good afternoon, friends. Right behind me is this old 1940-some McCormick Dairy and Cream separator, and it brought on some interesting thoughts today. Around the time this thing was made, farmers had farms of diversity. There were many different sectors a farmer could profit from: pigs, sheep, cows, garden, fruit trees, a vineyard, you name it. And if one of those went bad, they could always ride on the shoulders of something else that went well that year. And because of the diversity, the strength of diversity in farms, farmers relied on the process of farming. And at that point, they weren't violating any major rules of nature. Chemical fertilizer wasn't around, so they were forced to have to rotate which crops they planted where. They were not allowed to keep their animals confined because vaccinations and antibiotics were not widely used, so they were not able to violate these rules of nature, and they were forced to keep their animals on the move. They didn't want them stationary, staying over their own manure loads, because they knew that their animals would take on a pathogen load that would eventually be lethal. In the process of farming, all farmers loved it. That's why they kept doing it, and that's why multiple generations continued to farm. And when they did so, they had multiple relationships with their customers. And about this time, the industry came in and started marketing to farmers. First, it was chemical fertilizer. You can do more with more. You can grow more of this if you use this product. You can fill in the blank with almost every sector. You can grow more beef if you use this, this feed, or you can have more milk with this hormone, or you can keep your animals in one spot and not have to rotate them if you use this medicine. And it started to make farmers not be in love with the process of farming, but now we're in love with the products that makes things more convenient. And about that time, the industry really doubled down. And that's when the mechanical industrial age, the mechanization and everything was stationary instead of mobile. And the tractors got bigger, and the number of farms started to get smaller, and now farmers are really relying on the products, and as farms of diversity now started to come down to monospeciation and specialization. Farms were no longer diverse. But guess what the industry did so slyly, as they doubled down on the process. The industry took away the farmer's ability of how can I do more with less. And now they're the ones making all the money. And farmers today have fallen out of love with the process of farming because a few generations ago, they took it hook, line, and sinker for all those products that made things easier, and it took away our love of the process of farming. And now that the industry has had a hold of what we used to value sacred as the production of food and the tending of God's creation, they have secularized the creation of food and devalued it and cheapened it for so long that now the food we put in our bodies is no longer a nourishment. It's no longer healing. In fact, it's creating disease because of the business mindset the industry has taken on. And those that are returning to farming aren't trying to do it with large acreages and lots of products and big tractors and all this type of thing. They're doing it with simplicity. They're not using fertilizer, and they're not using different insecticides and pesticides, not because they think it's going to poison them, but because that isn't part of the process. Using products, it takes us away from our hands in the soil. And the farmer, back from when this thing was made, when they had their hands in the dirt, nowadays, farmers don't get their hands in the dirt very often anymore. And that's where all the answer is. It's in the soil. I don't believe farming was ever designed to be about quantifying the amount of something we can take off of the land. That's called consuming and taking. And therefore, it hath lessened the quality of the soil on which we grow the crops. But rather, if we really truly honor the process that the Creator made on this big giant spinning ball, we build the soil. And when we honor the soil, his creation, guess what happens? We no longer need the products. The soil takes care of us. He takes care of us. And then what happens? The quality of our product is far superior than anything the industry can give us. And that's why I still use my hand crank 1940 cream separator. To remind me once every few weeks, this is about the process of farming. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Spend time with each other, give each other a hug, and spend quality time, not quality money. Later.